On the afternoon of the trial makeup, I was in the fitting room of the bridal shop and overheard a conversation I shouldn't have. John Williams. What about Ivy Smith? The wedding will proceed as scheduled. I need the connections of the Smith family. But I'm pregnant. Olivia Davis. Wait a bit longer. After I secure the Smith family's project. My hand holding the doorknob trembled. Tomorrow is my wedding with John. The dream wedding I spent half a year planning. As the best wedding planner in this city, I've created perfect beginnings for countless couples. Yet, I never imagined that my own wedding would be a complete sham. I took a deep breath and pushed open the fitting room door. John was hugging a girl. I recognized her as Olivia, his assistant at the law firm. Seeing me, they quickly separated. John walked over, his expression unchanged. Ivy. How was the trial makeup? I looked at the face I had loved for 3 years and suddenly found it terrifyingly unfamiliar. It was good. I forced a smile. Tomorrow's wedding will be perfect. Olivia lowered her head and hurried away. As she passed by me, I caught the familiar scent of her perfume. It was John's favorite brand. John. The first want to change tomorrow's schedule. What schedule? The surprise segment. I want to give you a big surprise. John put his arm around my shoulder and kissed my forehead lightly. My Ivy is the most creative. I'm looking forward to it. I nodded with a smile, but in my heart, I was plotting another big show. Since he wants a perfect wedding, I'll give him one he'll never forget. Back home, I opened my computer and pulled up all the details for tomorrow's wedding. As a wedding planner, I have every detail of this wedding, including the timing of each segment. I modified a few key points, then texted my assistant Emily. Execute according to the new schedule tomorrow. Remember, it must be on time. John came out after showering and saw me still busy at the computer. Still working so late. Tomorrow is our big day. Exactly because tomorrow is our big day. I need to ensure everything is perfect. I closed the computer and turned to look at him. John, do you love me? He answered without hesitation. Of course I do. Ivy, you're the love of my life. What a beautiful lie. Then, if one day you betray me, would our marriage still have meaning? John paused for a moment, then smiled and pulled me into his arms. Silly. What nonsense are you talking? How could I ever betray you? Okay, I believe you. That night, I couldn't sleep. Not because of the excitement of becoming a bride tomorrow, but because I was making final preparations for the impending revenge. The next morning, the makeup artist came to do my makeup. Looking at my beautiful self in the mirror, I remembered what I once said to John. The first want to be the most beautiful bride in this city. Now, it seems I will indeed be the most special one. The wedding was held at a 5-star hotel in the city center. I chose the most luxurious banquet hall and invited the most influential people in the city. John's lawyer friends, my clients, and both families. Everything looked so perfect. John stood on the stage waiting for me, wearing a custom-made tuxedo. The smile on his face looked so sincere. If I didn't know the truth, I might have been genuinely moved. The music started playing, and I held my father's arm as we walked down the red carpet. All eyes were focused on me, with praises echoing around. The bride is so beautiful. This wedding is truly dreamlike. John Williams is so lucky. We walked to the front of the stage, and my father placed my hand in John's. John held my hand, tears welling up in his eyes. If only this were real. The MC began reciting the vows. John Williams, do you take Ivy Smith to be your lawfully wedded wife? To love and cherish her, in sickness and in health, for richer or poorer. Till death do you part. I do. Ivy Smith, do you take John Williams to be your lawfully wedded husband? To love and cherish him, in sickness and in health, for richer or poorer. Till death do you part. I looked into John's eyes and said clearly, I do. The ring exchange began. As John placed the ring on my finger, I noticed his hand trembling slightly. Maybe he felt a tiny bit of guilt. Now, let's invite the bride to present a special surprise for everyone. The MC's voice echoed through the hall. Everyone looked at me curiously. And John also wore an expectant expression. I walked to the front of the stage and picked up the microphone. Dear guests and friends, thank you all for coming to John and my wedding. As a wedding planner, I've organized countless weddings, but none as special as today. Applause broke out from below. Today, I want to share a story with you about love, betrayal, and the truth. John's expression started to shift uncomfortably. The beginning of this story was beautiful. The girl was a wedding planner, the boy a lawyer. They were in love for 3 years, and the boy said I love you every day, promising to spend his life with her. I looked at the guests below. They were listening intently, thinking this was part of my carefully prepared wedding speech. The girl believed every word he said. She gave up an opportunity to study abroad for him and rejected countless suitors. She thought she had found true love. John tried to come over and take the microphone from me, but I deftly avoided him. Until one day, the girl discovered a secret. I signaled to Emily Johnson to turn on the prepared projection equipment. A huge screen displayed a recording. John, what about Ivy? The wedding goes on as planned. I need the Smith family's connections, but I'm pregnant. Olivia, just wait a little longer until I secure the Smith family's project. The entire banquet hall fell silent instantly. Everyone stared at John on stage in shock. John's face turned as pale as paper. Ivy, let me explain. It's not over yet, I said with a smile. Everyone. This recording was captured yesterday at the bridal shop. The other woman in the conversation is sitting right there in the audience. I pointed to Olivia Davis in the corner. She tried to flee but was stopped by security. Olivia Davis, John's legal assistant and his mistress. To my knowledge, she's 2 months pregnant. A wave of murmurs erupted from the crowd. John Williams rushed onto the stage and tried to grab the microphone. That's enough. Ivy, what are you doing? I'm planning the most real wedding. I calmly looked at him. Don't you want to get the project from the Smith family? Now the opportunity is here. I turned to my father in the audience. Dad, did you hear that? In his eyes, your daughter is just a tool to get the project. My father's face turned ashen. He stood up. John Williams, give me an explanation. Uncle, it's a misunderstanding. I can explain. Misunderstanding. I interrupted him. Then let me show you something else. The surveillance video started playing on the screen. It was the camera I secretly installed in his car last night. In the picture, John and Olivia were kissing in the car, and her pregnant belly was quite obvious. This was taken this morning. Attorney John, do you remember what you said to me this morning? You said you went to the law firm to deal with urgent documents. John was completely panicked. Ivy, I was wrong. I'm really wrong. But I love you. She was just a momentary impulse. Can a momentary impulse last for 2 months? Can a momentary impulse make someone pregnant? The guests in the audience were whispering to each other. Some people started taking out their phones to record. I knew this wedding would become the top news in the whole city. Ladies and gentlemen, the wedding is over. Thank you all for your participation. This is indeed an unforgettable wedding. I took off my ring and threw it at John's feet, then turned to leave. Ivy, John chased after me and grabbed my arm. Let's talk privately. There's nothing to talk about. I shook off his hand. John, the project you want, get it. And the marriage you want is also gone. But our relationship. I laughed. You have feelings for Olivia. You only used me. Just then, Olivia suddenly rushed onto the stage and shouted hysterically. Ivy Smith, you bitch. You ruined our happiness. She waved her hand to hit me, but John stopped her. Olivia, calm down. I want calm down. Why does she have the right to humiliate us like this? I'm carrying your child in my belly. I'm the one you should marry. The guests in the audience were stunned. This was more exciting than any TV drama. I straightened my wedding dress skirt and said gracefully, Miss Olivia, I'm not humiliating you. I'm just telling the truth to everyone. It's your own actions that are humiliating. You. Olivia was so angry that she couldn't speak. Also, I added, I've already contacted a lawyer. John, see you in court. After saying that, I walked out of the banquet hall gracefully under everyone's gaze. The sun outside was nice. I took a deep breath. Finally, it was over. My assistant Emily chased after me. Sister Ivy, are you okay? Fine. I took off my veil. Help me cancel the honeymoon suite for this afternoon and switch it to a single room. I need to get some proper rest. What about John Williams? He has Olivia Davis with him. So don't worry about him. I got into the car and saw John rushing out of the banquet hall through the rearview mirror, looking around for something, but I no longer cared. This wedding was indeed perfected, perfectly exposed a man's true nature. As a wedding planner, I had orchestrated the most successful wedding for myself. Although the ending wasn't a happily ever after fairy tale, it was the truth coming out that I wanted. Back home, I took off my wedding dress and changed into comfortable loungewear. Tonight was supposed to be my wedding night. But now it became the first night of my fresh start. The phone kept ringing with calls from concerned friends and clients. Ivy Smith, are you okay? Do you need me to keep you company? That jerk isn't worth your tears. I replied to each one, thanking them for their concern and assuring them I was fine. Truly fine. The moment I tore off John's hypocritical mask, I felt an unprecedented sense of relief. The next day, the news predictably went viral. Renowned wedding planner publicly exposes groom's infidelity, most heartbreaking wedding scene. Bride angrily confronts jerk lawyer, groom caught two-timing. Assistant already pregnant. My phone started ringing non-stop again. This time from media reporters. Ivy Smith, could you give us an interview? What are your plans next? What do you want to say about John's betrayal? I rejected them all. I didn't want to become an online spectacle. I just wanted to handle this quietly. Around noon, John arrived. He looked haggard, with red eyes and stubble. Ivy, do you have to be so ruthless? I'm not being ruthless. I'm just choosing honesty. I poured myself a cup of coffee but didn't offer him any. If you want something, get it yourself. Can we talk this through properly? Sure. Let's talk about dividing the assets. John paused. Dividing the assets. Yes. This house was jointly purchased before our marriage. I covered the down payment. And you handled the mortgage. Legally, I should get my share back. Ivy, are you really going to be this cold? Cold. I set down my coffee cup. John, what do you mean by cold? Was it me who had another woman behind your back? Was it me who got another woman pregnant? Was it me who treated our relationship like a business deal? John was speechless. Anne, I continued. What are you going to do about the child in Olivia's belly? He hesitated. I'll take responsibility. Responsibility. How? Marry her. Ivy, you know I love you. Love me. I couldn't help but laugh. John, do you know what love is? Love is loyalty, trust, and respect. Have you ever given me these? I know I was wrong, but everyone makes mistakes. Can't you forgive me just this once? Mistakes. I stood up and looked him straight in the eye. Betrayal is not a mistake. It's a choice. You chose to deceive me, to be with another woman, and to use me as a stepping stone for your career. This wasn't an impulse. It was a well-thought-out decision. John fell silent. After a long time, he said, if I break up with Olivia, do we still have a chance? No. My answer was immediate. John, a broken mirror can be mended, but the cracks will always be there. I don't want to live a life where I have to doubt where you are and who you're with every day. Then does our 3-year relationship really mean nothing? For me, these 3 years were wonderful memories in my life, but that's all they are. Tears welled up in John's eyes. Ivy, I really love you. If you really love me, let me go and let yourself go too. I walked to the door, opened it, and said, please leave. John stood at the door and looked back at me for a long time. Ivy, I won't give up. Do as you please. I closed the door and leaned against it, taking a long, deep breath. In the afternoon, my lawyer friend Sophia came. Ivy, I saw the news. Are you really going to sue him? Of course. He used me and deceived me. I want to get back what belongs to me. But suing requires evidence. The recordings and videos you got yesterday might not have been obtained legally. I know. I took out a folder. But I also have these. Sophia opened the folder. Inside were a bunch of bank transfer records, hotel check-in records, and a pregnancy certificate from the hospital. Where did you get these? I'm a wedding planner, and my clients are from all walks of life. It's not difficult to investigate someone. Sophia looked at the evidence and said in surprise. When did you start preparing these? Since I heard that conversation. I sat down. Sophia, I'm not the kind of person who will just sit back and do nothing. Since he wants to play games, I'll play with him to the end. What result do you want? Property division. Compensation for mental damage. Anne. I paused for a moment. I want to ruin his reputation. Sophia looked at me in surprise. Ivy, you've changed. Yes, I have. I used to be too kind and too trusting of human nature. Now I understand that we should make betrayers pay the price. The next day, John's law firm received my lawsuit. The news exploded again. Famous wedding planner sues former fiancé, claiming $5 million in compensation. The legal community is shaken. And John is facing a career crisis. The emotional fraud case has attracted the attention of the legal community. My studio was also affected. Some conservative clients canceled their cooperation. But more clients expressed their support. Ms. Smith, we support you. Scumbags should be punished. You've really vented our anger as women. On the other hand, things have been troublesome for John Williams. The partners in his law firm had a talk with him. Several important clients asked to terminate their contracts. And even the cases he was handling were affected. Olivia Davis also started causing trouble. She ran to the door of my studio, crying and shouting that I had ruined her happiness and her future. Ivy, what right do you have to treat us like this? It was you who first abandoned John. I asked the security guards to escort her away. I didn't have the time to entangle with a mistress. But she didn't give up and started speaking out online, saying that I was a vicious woman and that she and John were true lovers. The netizens' comments were quite interesting. Does a mistress even have the nerve to talk about true love? Coming to cause trouble while pregnant. She's really something. This woman must be crazy. She ruins someone else's relationship and then tries to shift the blame. A week later, the court session began. In the courtroom, John was dressed in a sharp suit, trying to salvage his image. His lawyer was a well-known top-notch lawyer in the industry, clearly making a last-ditch effort. Your Honor, my client admits that he was at fault in the relationship, but Miss Smith's claim amount is too high. And there are problems with the way she obtained the evidence. Sophia Brown stood up to refute. Your Honor, Mr. Williams' actions were not only an emotional affair but also a form of fraud. He knew about his relationship with the third party but still prepared for the wedding with my client. During this period, my client invested a great deal of time, money, and emotions. The courtroom debate was intense. John's lawyer tried to find loopholes at a technical level, but Sophia was well prepared and could perfectly respond to every query. Now, let the parties make their final statements, the judge said. John stood up, looking at me. Ivy, I know I was wrong. I'm willing to compensate for your losses, but I hope you can forgive me. Our feelings for each other were real. I don't want to ruin everything because of my momentary stupidity. It was my turn. I stood up and looked at everyone in the courtroom. Your Honor, 3 years ago when I met John, the first thought I had met the right person. I gave up many opportunities for him and invested all my feelings. But his betrayal made me realize that some people are not worthy of our sincerity. He said it was a momentary stupidity, but from the evidence, his relationship with Olivia had lasted for at least 3 months. This was not an impulse but a premeditated act. He said he was willing to compensate for my losses. But some losses cannot be measured by money, like my trust in love, my 3 years of youth, and the humiliation of almost marrying a liar. I'm standing here today not for revenge but for justice. I hope everyone understands that betrayal comes with a price. The courtroom fell silent. Finally, the judge announced the verdict. John lost the case and had to compensate me $2 million for economic losses and $1 million for mental damages. As I walked out of the courtroom, John caught up with me. Ivy, you won. Are you satisfied? I didn't win. John, we both lost. You lost your career and reputation. And I lost my trust and love. Then what about us? There's no us anymore. I walked away without looking back. After the lawsuit ended, my life got back on track. The business of my studio was even better than before. Many female clients specifically came to me to plan their weddings, saying that they trusted my professional ability and admired my courage. Teacher Smith, you're really so brave. Yeah, if it were me, I might have just swallowed my anger. You've brought honor to us women. I smiled and accepted their praise, but deep down, I knew I hadn't done it for the honor. I just didn't want to compromise myself. A month later, I received a special order. The client was a girl named Lily Green, who was about to get married, but her story reminded me of myself. Ivy Smith. My fiancé has a childhood sweetheart he never cut ties with. I don't know what to do. Do you have any evidence? Some. But I'm not sure if I should dig deeper. I'm afraid knowing the truth will only cause more pain. I looked at this young girl's anxious expression and remembered myself a few months ago. Lily, would you like to hear my advice? Of course. Truth is always better than lies. Pain is temporary. But a marriage built on deception lasts a lifetime. But what if I'm wrong about him? Then consider me meddling. But if you're not wrong, you've saved yourself. Lily thought it over for a long time and finally decided to investigate. A week later, she sent me a message. Ivy. Thank you. You saved me. He really is still in contact with that woman, even planning to keep seeing her after marriage. I've called off the wedding. I put down my phone, feeling conflicted. Maybe people who've experienced betrayal are especially sensitive to such things. Maybe I'm using my own experience to help more people avoid the same pain. Just then, Sophia Brown called. Ivy, there's movement on John Williams' end. What movement? He and Olivia Davis broke up. I wasn't surprised. And then, Olivia left the city with the child. John wants to win you back. He's dreaming. Ivy. He's serious this time. He's even willing to leave with nothing, as long as you give him a chance. Sophia. Do you think someone who betrayed you once is still worth trusting? Well, Sophia hesitated. Maybe people can really change. Maybe they can. But I'm not willing to gamble my future on that maybe. After hanging up, I went back to work. My life is fulfilling now, my career is going well. I have many friends. What more could I want? That evening, I went alone to that restaurant we often visited. Not out of nostalgia. I just suddenly craved their pasta. To my surprise, John was there too. He sat alone in a corner, a glass of wine untouched in front of him. When he saw me, his eyes lit up. Ivy. John. The first nodded, not avoiding him or approaching. Are you? Okay. I'm fine. And how about you? He smiled bitterly. Not too good. Is that so? That's a pity. I ordered food and sat at a spot not far from him. The pasta at this restaurant was indeed delicious, worth enduring the awkward atmosphere. Ivy Smith. Can we talk? I'm eating. I meant after you're done. There's nothing to talk about. I broke up with Olivia Davis. I know. I looked up at him. Congratulations. You finally made the right decision. I want to start over with you. John Williams. There's no such thing as starting over in this world. Some things happen and that's that. Some words are said and that's that. Some hurts are caused and that's that. But we used to love each other so much. Used to. I emphasized those two words. What's past is past. John fell silent. I finished eating and stood up to leave. Ivy. He called out to me. Can't you really give me a chance? Even just as friends. I looked back at him. John. Some people, once lost, never come back. You should understand that. Then do you hate me? I thought for a moment. No. Hating someone is too exhausting. I don't have that much energy to waste on you. After saying that, I really left. Coming out of the restaurant, the night wind was cold. Suddenly I felt very light, as if I had put down something heavy. 3 months later, I got an unexpected call. Is this Miss Ivy? I'm a nurse from the downtown hospital. There's a Miss Olivia giving birth here, and she listed you as her emergency contact. I was stunned. Me? Why me? She said besides you. She has no one else to contact. I thought about it and still went to the hospital. Outside the delivery room, I saw the haggard Olivia. She had lost a lot of weight. Her face was pale, and she looked very weak. Why did you make me the emergency contact? Olivia smiled bitterly. Because you're the only one who knows this child exists. What about John? He doesn't want the child or me. Tears welled up in Olivia's eyes. Ivy, now I know how you felt back then. The feeling of being abandoned is really hard to take. I sat on the chair beside her. So what do you want to say now? I want to say I'm sorry. Olivia lowered her head. I shouldn't have ruined your relationship or humiliated you like that. If apologies worked, there wouldn't be so many tragedies in this world. I know you won't forgive me. And I don't expect your forgiveness. I just want to tell you, John Williams isn't worth your love. I've known that for a long time. He never truly loved me, and he didn't even acknowledge this child. Olivia Davis touched her belly. Only now do I realize how selfish he is. The nurse came out. Olivia, you can go in now. Get ready for delivery. Olivia Davis stood up. After walking a few steps, she turned back. Ivy Smith, thank you for coming to see me. Although we are enemies, you are the most courageous woman I've ever seen. I didn't answer. A few hours later, the child was born. It was a boy. Very healthy. Olivia Davis held the child. Tears streaming down. What should I do? How can I raise him alone? That's your choice. Not my problem. Ivy, can you do me a favor? What favor? Can you help me contact John? Whether he wants this child or not. He should at least come see him. I thought for a moment. Okay, I'll help you contact him. But only this once. I dialed John's phone. Ivy, why are you calling me? There was surprise in his voice. Olivia gave birth. It's a boy. She wants to see you. There was a long silence on the other end. Is she okay? Mother and child are both fine. John, no matter what you think of her, this child is innocent. He hesitated. I'll come over right now. An hour later, John came. He looked quite haggard, with deep exhaustion in his eyes. Seeing Olivia and the child, his expression was complicated. Olivia. John, you're here. Olivia's voice was soft. Look. He looks like you. John glanced at the child but didn't reach out to hold him. Olivia. We need to talk. Okay. I was about to leave when John stopped me. Ivy, you stay too. Some things need to be clarified. I think this is your private matter. No. This matter has involved you from the beginning. John looked at me. I want to make it clear in front of you. I stayed. John said to Olivia. Olivia, I will raise the child. But we can't be together anymore. Why? Olivia's voice trembled. We have a child. Why can't we be together? Because we were wrong from the start. John glanced at me. The one I love isn't you. That person doesn't want you anymore. Olivia Davis exclaimed excitedly. Ivy Smith doesn't want you anymore. Why are you still rejecting me for her sake? It's not for her. It's for myself. John Williams' voice was calm. Olivia, love isn't because of loneliness, isn't because of need, and certainly isn't because of having a child. I have no love for you. Only responsibility. Responsibility is enough. Olivia cried. I don't demand that you love me. Just marry me. That's unfair to you and unfair to the child. Then what do you want to do? I will provide enough living expenses for you and the child. But I won't marry you. If you're willing, the child can take my surname. And I will acknowledge him as my son. Olivia looked at him despairingly. John, are you really this heartless? Olivia, This is the best outcome I can give you. When leaving the hospital, John followed me to the parking lot. Ivy, thank you. Don't thank me. I just think that child is pitiful. Ivy, John. The first heard what you said in the ward. I don't need you to reject anyone for my sake. Nor do I need any promises from you. I just want you to know. I've always loved you. What does that matter? I looked at him. John. Love isn't a one-person affair. You love me, but I don't love you anymore. Is it because I hurt you? Or because you really don't love me anymore? Is there a difference? Yes. If it's because of hurt, I can slowly make amends. If it's really not loving anymore, then accept reality. I interrupted him. John, we're over. Completely over. Ivy, give me a year. Okay. If after a year you're still unwilling to give me a chance, I'll give up completely. No need for a year. I can give you the answer now. Never possible. After saying that, I got in the car and left. Through the rearview mirror, I saw John standing in place for a long time. Perhaps he finally understood what loss means. Back home, I took a shower, lay on the bed, and thought about what happened today. Olivia's tears, John's plea, and that innocent child. Sometimes I wonder, if I hadn't been so resolute back then, would there have been a different outcome? But I quickly dismissed that thought. A person who betrays, given more chances, will still betray. A relationship that has lost trust is like a shattered mirror. Even if pieced together, the cracks are still there. I don't want to live a life where I have to doubt the other person every day. The next day, I received a new order. The clients were an elderly couple who wanted to hold a golden wedding anniversary. Ivy. We've been married for 50 years and want to hold a special celebration. 50 years. That's truly remarkable. I sighed sincerely. Yes, the old lady said with a smile. Actually, there's no secret. It's just solving problems together and resisting temptations together. Most importantly, the old man added, remember why we got together in the first place. Their words really touched me. Maybe true love is like this. It's not about a passionate fire but a gentle, continuous flow. It's not about grand vows but about supporting each other through thick and thin, while planning the celebration for them. I rethought the meaning of love. True love should make people better, not make them suspicious. True love should give people a sense of security, not make them constantly worried about being betrayed. True love should be two people facing the world together, not one person guessing alone in the dark. John gave me passion and romance, but he never gave me real security. Maybe from the very beginning, we weren't the right match for each other. A month later, I ran into Sophia at the mall. Ivy, how have you been lately? Pretty good. I'm doing well at work. Is John still looking for you? Not recently. It seems he's really changing. I heard he quit his job at the law firm and opened a legal aid center to help the vulnerable. I nodded without any particular reaction. Ivy, aren't you even a little bit tempted? Sophia. Just because a person does good deeds doesn't mean he's a good person. Maybe he's just using this way to get psychological comfort or trying to prove his change. Maybe you're right. Sophia sighed. But I still think it's a bit of a pity. You two used to be so in love. Used to be. I repeated these two words. Let the past be the past. After leaving the mall, I drove past the legal aid center. Through the glass window, I saw John having a serious conversation with an old man. He had really lost a lot of weight and looked much more mature, but it had nothing to do with me anymore. I wished him good luck and also hoped that I could meet the right person. 6 months later, my studio moved to a new location. It had a larger space, better decoration, and a more professional team. Business was getting better and better, and I was getting busier and busier. One day, my assistant Emily told me mysteriously, Sis Ivy, there's a client who specifically asked for you to receive him. What kind of client is so special? You'll know when you see him. In the meeting room, there was a man in his 30s, wearing a simple but high-quality shirt and gold-rimmed glasses. He looked very elegant. Hello. I'm Ivy Smith. Hello. I'm James Wilson. He stood up and shook my hand. I've heard so much about you. What kind of wedding does Mr. Wilson want me to plan? It's not my wedding. He smiled. It's my sister's. She's a fan of yours and insists that you plan her wedding. It's really my honor. We discussed the wedding requirements in detail. James' sister Anna wanted an outdoor wedding by the sea. Simple yet romantic. My sister has a simple personality and doesn't like overly complicated things. James said. But her fiancé's family wants a more grand wedding. So we hope to find a balance. That's not difficult. We can embody elegance in simplicity and showcase quality through romance. We chatted for 2 hours. James Wilson's ideas were fascinating. And he showed great respect for my professional opinions. Miss Smith, may I ask if you're married? I paused. No. Why? Nothing. Just that your understanding of weddings is so profound, I assumed you had rich personal experience. I only have rich professional experience. I smiled. That makes it even more impressive. After confirming the collaboration, I began preparing for Anna Wilson's wedding. During this period, James frequently visited the studio to discuss details. He was an intriguing person, an investment professional with deep knowledge of art. Our conversations often drifted from weddings to other topics. You have a natural talent for color coordination, he remarked while reviewing my color scheme. Thank you. It's the result of professional training, not just training. Some things are innate, like your aesthetic sense, attention to detail, and your strength. The last word surprised me. Strength. Yes. I read about your story. Maintaining composure and defending your rights in that situation took immense courage. I simply refused to be mistreated. That's exactly what strength is, James said earnestly. Many would endure such things silently. But you chose to fight back. That requires both wisdom and courage. His words left me slightly flustered. Anna's wedding was a success. The seaside sunset, minimalist decor, and heartfelt ceremony delighted everyone. Afterward, James presented me with flowers. Thank you for giving my sister a perfect wedding. It was my pleasure. Miss Smith, would you join me for dinner? To celebrate our successful collaboration. I considered briefly. Gladly. The restaurant was elegant. The dishes exquisite. We talked extensively: work, hobbies, travel, books. What do you enjoy in your free time? He asked. Reading. Listening to music. Occasionally painting. And you? Similar interests. Plus collecting artwork. What kind? Various pieces: oil paintings, sculptures, antiques. Mainly whatever catches my eye. We hit it off so well, time flew by. Apologies for keeping you so long. James checked his watch. Not at all. I had no other plans today. I didn't answer immediately. You can take your time. I'll wait for your answer. That night, I thought for a long time. James Wilson was a good person. I was certain of that. He was considerate, gentlemanly, interesting, and very respectful of me. But I wasn't ready to start a new relationship yet. John Williams' betrayal hadn't made me despair of love, but it had made me cautious. I needed time. I needed to know more. The next day, I gave him my answer. James, the first need more time. We can keep things as they are now, getting to know each other slowly. If you're willing to wait, I'd be grateful. If you're not, I understand. I'm willing to wait. His reply was firm. Feelings can't be forced. I want you to choose me only when you're completely ready. I was deeply moved. That was the difference between a mature man and an immature man. John never gave me time to think, always pushing me to make decisions. But James was willing to give me space, letting me move at my own pace. 2 more months passed, and our relationship grew closer. I started calling him James, and he started calling me Ivy Smith. We would watch movies together, browse bookstores together, and try new restaurants together. He never asked me about John or tried to pry into my past. He focused only on our present, which made me very comfortable. Until one day, we ran into John at a coffee shop. He looked even more haggard. his hair a bit messy, when he saw me with James. A look of pain flashed in his eyes. Ivy. He walked over. John. The first nodded. James stood up politely. Hello. I'm James. I'm John. He looked at James. Then at me. Ivy. Have you gotten a boyfriend? That's my private business. Yes. Sorry. John forced a bitter smile. I just wish you happiness. Thank you. After John left, James asked me, Are you okay? I'm fine. My reply was sincere. I've let it go. I can see that. James took my hand. Ivy. I admire you. Truly letting go of a relationship takes great wisdom. Thank you for understanding. No need to thank me. Your past made you who you are today, and am grateful for it because it brought me to meet the present you. At that moment, I suddenly understood what true acceptance meant. James wasn't trying to make me forget the past. He was accepting all of me, including my history. This is what mature love should look like. A year later, James Wilson proposed. It wasn't in some particularly romantic place. It was in that gallery where we first saw an art exhibition together. Ivy Smith. I want to see more exhibitions with you. Go to more places. Do more interesting things together. Will you marry me? He didn't kneel. Didn't prepare a big diamond ring. Just asked me calmly. But this proposal moved me even more. Because it was very much like him. Sincere. Simple. And unaffected. I do. As we hugged, I remembered the farce-like wedding a year ago. At that time, I thought my life was ruined. Thought I would never believe in love again. But now I understand that some endings are for better beginnings. John Williams' betrayal hurt me, but it also taught me how to protect myself and how to recognize someone truly worthy. If not for that painful experience, perhaps I wouldn't cherish James' sincerity so much. Our wedding was very simple, inviting only our closest friends and family. At the seaside, just like I had planned for Anna Wilson back then. Simple, warm, and sincere. As my father walked me down the sandy beach, he said to me, Ivy. This time I'm at ease. Why? Because I can see that this man truly loves you. How can you tell? The way he looks at you is different from how John looked at you. When John looked at you, there was desire, possessiveness, but no respect. When James looks at you, there is love, cherishment, and even more respect. My father's words moved me deeply. Perhaps true love is like this. Not intense possessiveness, but gentle cherishment. At the wedding ceremony, as James and I exchanged rings, I remembered that night a year ago. Back then, I threw John's ring at his feet, thinking I would never believe in marriage again in this lifetime. But now, I believe again, because I've met the right person. After the wedding, we went to Greece for our honeymoon, watching the sunset on the cliffs of Santorini. James asked me, Do you regret it? Regret what? Giving up such a big company and so much property. If you had forgiven John back then, you would now be the wealthy boss wife. I laughed. James, do you think money is important? Or happiness is important? Of course, happiness is important. Exactly. When I was with John, the first had money. But I wasn't happy. With you, I don't have as much money, but I'm very happy. Ivy, you know, your choice makes me admire you deeply. Many women in such situations would choose to endure or forgive. For money, for status, for so-called face. But you chose dignity, because I know a life without dignity isn't worth living. That's why I love you. James kissed my forehead. You have your own principles, your own bottom line, and you won't sell yourself for anything. As the sun set below the horizon, the sea breeze gently brushed by. I leaned on my husband's shoulder, feeling an unprecedented sense of security. After returning to the country, our life was peaceful and happy. James' investment company was doing well, and my wedding planning studio was becoming increasingly successful. We often travel together, go to exhibitions together, and try new restaurants together. Life is plain but not boring, simple but not monotonous. This is the life I want. One day, I encountered John Williams on the street. He looked much better. In good spirits. Probably having started a new life. Ivy Smith. You look very happy. Yes. I am very happy. And you? I'm doing okay too. He paused. Ivy. Thank you. Thank me for what? Thank you for your decisiveness back then. If you had forgiven me, I would never have truly reflected on my problems or grown. Your rejection taught me what true love is. That's good. Ivy. Although we can't be together, I hope you will always be happy. I also wish you happiness. And I hope you find someone truly suitable for you. We shook hands. Just like old friends. All the hatred and pain had dissipated, leaving only a sense of relief. In the evening, when I got home, I told James Wilson about this encounter. Do you still feel anything? He asked. No. It was like meeting an ordinary acquaintance. Then I'm relieved, James said with a smile. Although I don't mind your past, I still hope that your heart belongs only to me. Of course, only you. I hugged him. James, thank you for making me believe in love again. Don't thank me. It was you who chose to start anew. Then let's both thank the brave me who made that choice. We looked at each other and smiled.